The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
Thank you, Tally Olson, and thank you, Steve Cohen. We are the New York Mets show, the New York Mets in the zone, and never have we been so happy with an owner in our lives. Marty Rose, you're here. How are you?
Very good.
And good. And Vaughn.
Yes. Doing well.
Good. Robert Cole.
Here and happy. What's not to be happy about?
Let me ask you guys, first of all, how did we luck into Korea or not luck into him? The argument goes. What did the Giants give up on? What was their issue? Anybody have an idea?
Well, all I heard was he failed a physical. I mean, but no, there was no explanation. That's all I heard.
And he took a physical with the Mets today, and I haven't seen anything about it.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Okay. Wonder what that Giants said, a blurb that they were concerned about an ankle injury in 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, Boris said that Correa had a ankle injury the year before he came up to the majors, and that that they can't talk specifically, but apparently that's what the Giants saw on the X-ray. And Boris said he was waiting for the Giants to get back to him. They never did, and he called up Cohen, and Cohen was having breakfast in Hawaii or martinis or something, and they had a conversation, and the deal was done.
Was it 12 years? I mean,
is he a better fielder than Lindor?
I think they're fairly equal in their fielding. Neither one. I don't think either one is, leagues better than the other one. So, Lindor is the shortstop. Correa seems to have no problem going to third. So
beautiful. Holy Toledo, are they deep or what?
They're trying to trade Escobar.
To the Cubs, I understand.
Yeah. Yes.
That there's a guy who had a great second half, and I don't know about giving up on him. Talk about the money, though. They're so far over the salary, not a salary cap, but what do they call it, Robert?
Luxury tax.
Okay. They're so far over that, and it doesn't seem to matter to Steve one way or the other. I heard something, Hank Steinbrenner said, "This is getting crazy."
That's funny.
That's kind of ironic coming from the Steinbrenner.
Right, out of Steinbrenner's mouth that he says, "Well, what are we going to do about this? The commissioner should step in." I don't know if he said the commissioner or people have been saying that. The money is there, and it's not from Cohen's personal property. It's the TV deal, just being in New York. People are so amazed of the spending of money. Fred Wilpon should have been spending the money years ago. And because if it isn't New York that's got the bucks, where do you go to find it?
A lot of this has to be coming from him. I mean, seriously, this kind of big money. I mean, he's worth $17 billion. So he doesn't care. He doesn't.
Yeah.
$17 billion.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, maybe if he found out about this podcast, he'd put some of that money where it belongs.
Well, he's talking about buying Ralph out.
All I can say is it's a simple PayPal transaction. You name the buying price. Anything over $50, it's fine with me.
Yeah, there you go.
But the big thing is, he's a fan. He's always been a fan.
Yeah.
So he's a fan.
Let me just say,
he can do something about it now.
Let me just say, as one who has followed a team that has spent a lot of money in the last 10 years, nothing is written in stone and nothing is guaranteed.
No.
Speaking of that, of the Steinbrenners, he proved that. He spent a lot of money before they won, and they didn't win until he was out of the picture in jail. So I don't know if he was in jail, but he was a convicted felon over the contributions and suspended from baseball. And
that's true. But, be that as it may, there's a lot of good teams out there. I mean, and I looked at the lineup, and it's a good lineup. There's no question about it. But that doesn't guarantee the pitching is going to come through, and it doesn't guarantee that the Phillies aren't going to be better. Because they got a lot. They did a lot. I mean, I don't know that they're going to be. And you got the Braves to contend with, and
your first two pitchers are 40 years old.
And I didn't want to say that. I'm glad you did.
We all know it.
Yeah.
They're going to miss time. There's no question about it. But luckily they got guys like McGill and Peterson, to step in when needed. So.
Okay, with the DeGrom thing, I can't imagine Steve not paying DeGrom, wanting to pay DeGrom. Was it the years? Did he not want to pay 5 years for him, or did DeGrom just not want to be in New York?
DeGrom never came back and told the Mets what the Rangers offered him. Apparently there was an understanding that he would get his best offer and then he'd come back to the Mets and tell them what the offer was. I have a feeling that the Rangers said, "Here's the deal. You got to tell us right now, okay, or else we're taking it off the table." And so he took it.
Yeah, I think his wife wanted out of New York too.
Boy. Well, she doesn't go every fifth day. Jeez. Hey, did you guys look at the MLB website today?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, they put out the top 10 best lineups for 2023. Huh. And the Mets were number one.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. They should be. Can't imagine them not being.
Yeah, the Mets were number one. And
let's talk.
The Dodgers were seventh. Dodgers were seventh, the Phillies were eighth, and the Yankees were 11th.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, wow. I don't really remember who was in between. The Astros were about fourth, I think. But it was interesting. And so I looked at some of these lineups, and I mean, it's going to be, if you guys enjoyed this season, obviously until the playoffs, I think you'll be enjoying next season.
Hopefully we will.
and many seasons to come. Let's put it that way.
Well, apparently, yeah. Apparently so.
And all a fan can do is want to be competitive every year. No guarantee they're going to win. Even
No.
A lot of things can go wrong, but just having an owner that comes up that way, terrific. What can you say? After all these years, and Wayne Unger pointed something out. They have never had an ownership that was open pocketbooks.
No.
And even in Joan Payson was somewhat of a penny pincher.
But that was before free agency. But
yeah, back in those days, I mean, it was a whole totally different ball game.
Yeah, but we got it going. Talk about the pitching staff. It's really come together in the last few days.
What do we know about Senga and Quintana? We know about the other three guys, the starters.
Okay, well, Senga supposedly has major league stuff. When he has faced, major league hitters and stuff like that, he's been done very well. We have to wait and see. The Mets, of course, have not had very good luck with Japanese players. So,
yeah.
Now, Quintana is a durable guy. Gives you a lot of innings. He's kind of the guy you want in there in your rotation. He'll give you 6, 7, 8 innings on occasion. So,
he had 32 starts, and his ERA was 2.93.
Yeah, he's a good, solid, dependable starter.
Nice.
Okay.
And don't forget, what they did in the bullpen. They got David Robertson. They brought back Ottavino. Of course, they brought back Diaz.
Yeah. And they added a couple of guys like this.
Lugo.
Really?
The only one they lost really was Lugo.
Right.
Well, they lost Lugo. They lost May. They lost the lefty that they traded for last year.
Yeah, but they pretty much filled in with guys, though.
They did.
Right.
They got this guy Raley.
Yep.
Lucchese's back. Ottavino's back. This Montez de Oca they got. So, I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
They signed Lucchese today for a measly $1.5 million.
Jeez. Yeah, Cohen couldn't even buy this podcast for that much.
Well, like I say, $50 and there it goes. We'll split it.
Go ahead.
We'll split the 54 ways and call it a night. I don't expect much. A little heat is what I expect. Alameda, Northern California, has the least to complain about in the country. Yet I'm complaining. It's like 40, 50 degrees in this cold spell. What's it like in Florida, guys?
Well, it's going to be tomorrow night into Saturday. It's going to be freezing. 32, 31, something like that. So,
I heard by you, Mert, the wind chill is going to be like in the 20s.
I did hear that.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Coldest in 5 years here, they said.
I never look down here because it doesn't always get down here, but somebody's telling me 40s, temperature-wise. So the wind chill could be in the 30s.
Did you guys, when you moved to Florida, did you keep clothes for just that kind of emergency?
No.
Well, when you get here, you have some, but after all these years, you have nothing.
No winter coats. I mean, I got a couple of long sleeve pullover shirts. I've got a couple of warm ones. And I have a couple of light jackets, but nothing else. No.
If I had to go up north in the winter, I'd have to borrow something or buy something.
True.
Reminds me of a story. It might have been, it was the weekend of your wedding in November, Marty.
Yeah.
It was cold. Really cold.
Yeah.
And I didn't have socks. And my dear brother would not lend me a pair of socks. So anyway, I ended up at his mother-in-law's viewing. Poor lady passed away.
Huh.
And I am sitting in the back of the room with my feet up on the coffee table and no socks. That's the impression I made on his family that night. So I remember it like it was yesterday.
Oh boy,
that's funny.
40 years ago, Mert?
41.
41.
Just went past 41. Yeah.
Right. It's all gone so freaking fast that it makes my head spin.
Yeah.
I drove up to celebrate 40 last year. So
That's right.
That would be 41 this year.
Wow.
And my kid's birthday's on the same day, turned 50. 50. How is that even possible?
Yeah.
My kid is 32, and I don't feel that's possible. I don't feel it's possible that I'm in my 77th year. That's
right.
But like I think I mentioned this on the podcast the other day, I really can't complain. I've reached my life expectancy. How long, and
right.
That's pretty good, as we all have. And I'm not complaining about anything, and I'll take it as it comes. I like it to come at night, real late at night when I'm asleep.
I didn't think you slept.
I'll sleep for this one.
Every time I'm up at some early hour here, I post something, and there you are. I'm going, what are you doing up?
Well, it's earlier here. Sometimes, you know what it is? It's a matter of this. The more naps you take, the more wake and bakes you get. So that's just my philosophy of life. But I do sleep in naps. I can't remember getting 8 hours in a row. I can't even remember it. So I'll sleep 4 hours here, 4 hours there. And,
No, 8, I can't wait.
Yeah. Can't imagine doing 8. Can't imagine no distractions to do 8. There's always something in life going on. Hey, I'll tell you who's gone is McCann. That's finalized today.
Right.
Yes.
Played to be named, and they signed another
Where'd he go?
catcher. Baltimore. Yeah, they signed another catcher, some guy named Narvaez.
Narvaez, yeah.
Narvaez, whatever. They signed him. And they also signed another infielder named Mendick, shortstop. So they must be trying to trade Escobar and Guillorme then. I don't know why they keep signing guys.
Must be for depth and just that reason.
They only carry so many guys,
Yeah, well, I think there's another deal in the making.
Must be. They still got Ruff.
You would think.
They still got Ruff on the roster also for this year.
Yeah, I know.
What are they
But
doing? They don't need him.
No, I don't think he's going to be there anymore.
Well, to echo the earlier sentiment, it's nice to know that the owner, after you're losing in the playoffs like that, he said that ain't happening again, and he went out and he's trying to do something about it. That's what you want, and that's what you guys have always wanted. Now you have it.
Yeah,
absolutely, and you've had it for 30 years with the Dodgers. Really?
Right, but they had their problems. They were hamstrung for a while by some of the ownership, deals and the McCourts and the money wasn't really there and this and that. And then when they finally got that the deal, with the networks out there all straightened out, then a shitload of money came in and the new ownership, and so now they can do that too. But they took the year off because they want Ohtani next year.
Oh, so do I.
Well, everybody wants Ohtani, yeah, sure. but they didn't go after all these big guys. I thought they'd at least go after a shortstop, but they didn't do it.
Well, they were supposedly in on every big name. They were mentioned as being in on.
Yeah, but they do that every year. I don't listen to that stuff anymore. They're going to go with a lot of young guys. There's going to be 2 or 3 in the lineup. So, most of them are ready. I can't wait to see this guy Outman play. I mean, if you watched his 1 week in the majors last year, I'm ready for that. But I don't know about the other kid who's probably going to move him to second base. He played in the playoffs. He didn't do much, but we'll see. They still have a good lineup, and they went and they got Martinez to be the DH. So I wouldn't count them out.
Why'd they let Trey Turner walk? He didn't want to be there, or what?
Well, that's another thing. I think his wife wanted to be on the East Coast.
Oh, okay.
And I think he wanted to go play with Bryce Harper.
Yeah, Turner and Harper were really close.
Okay.
See, DeGrom's wife wanted to play on the West Coast. They should both go to Chicago and have a weekend with the wives.
There you go.
Just a little baseball. That would be a baseball trivia. Which couple in 2022
there you go.
spent the weekend in Chicago and spent $3 million in the hotel bill and food for everybody? Because money's no object anymore for anybody in the sport.
The coldest I've ever been, the last 10 or 20 years, was at Wrigley Field last year. Not this past season, the one before. And it was May. It was the first week of May, and it was freezing. They canceled the game the night before because there was this big storm that was supposed to come in. I had tickets for it. but they rained it out, even though the rain never came, and it was warmer. And they made it a day-night doubleheader, so we went to the day game, and overnight the temperature dropped over 20 degrees.
Oh,
and
wow.
and it was 40-something degrees at Wrigley Field, which is like 10 somewhere else. I was freezing. It was insane.
Well, it reminds
so was
me.
Kershaw. He got knocked out in the first inning, and it was his shortest stint of his career.
Who was that?
Kershaw.
Oh, Kershaw.
Yeah, I went to the Dodgers-Cubs game. Why else, would I go to Chicago? I always wanted to go to Wrigley, but that was horrible, man.
Yeah. Well, Candlestick Park would match any freezing night that you guys have ever spent anywhere. What with the wind coming in, there were nights that it was just unbearable, literally. So I hear you, and I know what you mean.
Yeah, I heard about that too. Yeah, they always said that about Candlestick.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny when the Dodgers moved to L.A. The Giants were gonna move to Minneapolis, and they ended up going to San Francisco. And when they built Candlestick, they had a mountain in the way, so they tore down the mountain, and then the wind started, and they didn't realize that every day around 3 o'clock the wind would blow like hell. And they also had designed in the Candlestick Park plan was a heating system that would heat each individual seat. One control, and it never worked. Not day one was there heat in Candlestick.
No kidding.
Yeah, the added wind that came in, and never being able to put it together with that system, it was a horrible place to play, but the Giants used it to their advantage. And there's all kinds of stories about how they would just be ready to play in cold weather. Frank Robinson and those managers would just prepare them. And so there are some great rivalries back in the day with the Giants and Dodgers.
Oh, please.
Not just in New York, but out here it really continued throughout the years. And the Giants now have a gem of a ballpark to play in, as do the Mets and as do the A's. Oh, wait a minute.
Now, you have to remember, too, Ralph, that the Giants should be in St. Petersburg.
Except for the
Walter
number one
O'Malley.
guy, except for the guy who queered it, was Bill White. And I'll tell you why he quit. He was the president of the National League. And in his career, if you remember, the Cardinals and the Yankees both trained in St. Petersburg. And the black players couldn't stay in the same facilities in St. Petersburg as the white guys. You had guys like Kurt Flood and Brock and Bill White and all that, and those guys. Bill White remembered that years later, and he said, over my dead body am I going to approve that? And he was the one that put the kibosh on that deal of them moving because of and that You know,
Well, good for him.
50 some odd years ago, but you don't expect to hear of things like that going on in our country. And you don't expect to hear about what's going on in our country today. So,
well, there's good people on both sides, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a break.
Some of the
Nazis
are
people
really
on both sides.
Yeah, that he is coming to such a crash. I can't imagine him escaping what's going on right now. The only thing that may happen, and this scared me, I thought of this the other night. What if the DOJ says, you know, remember how Ford pardoned Nixon for the good of the country and this shit? Well, if he prosecutes Trump, he's going to have to prosecute Hunter Biden. And I don't think he can do that because Biden is his boss. And some of the things, if there were an investigation, could include the president himself. I mean, what was his kid doing over there? Where did the money come from? What was he selling off? And what have you. So I think if Garland decides to not prosecute for the good of the country, avoid a civil war, this, that, or the other thing, I think he'd have not a case, but
precedent. Nah, he's got to go down. He's got to go down. He's got to go down. Now, will he? I'll believe it when I see it. But I mean, it's delay. Everything delay. Takes years and years and years. He'll get reelected, which I don't think is going to happen. But he'll get reelected, and 4 years later, he still won't have brought it to trial. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. If he gets reelected, he pardons all those insurrectionists. And
right. I don't think it's going to happen. They don't want him, and they shouldn't want him.
No, they shouldn't. That's. But the fact that there are like 5 or 6 high-ranking Republicans who still stick by him, including McConnell and stuff. McConnell said, "Oh, no, Republican, I probably end up voting for him." How could he and Pence, what he came out with the other day, he says he was reckless, but whether it was a crime or not, they were screaming for him to be hung on the gallows. What kind of wimp is he when it comes down to it? He was a hero that day, but where are these guys' brains?
Good question.
Very, very scary. Very scary.
Back to
baseball. Up a little bit. Back to baseball. Pick it up a little bit because this is the. Go ahead.
Bring one thing up, Ralph. The radio broadcast booth for the Mets. Wayne Randazzo is not going to be back. He took a job, I believe, with the Angels.
Yes, right.
And the kid that filled in for a while, this Jake Eisenberg, took a job with Kansas City.
Oh, did he?
Oh.
Yeah. Signed with the Royals. So now you got Howie and nobody else. And Howie's still
I think
trip.
he wants Collins. I think Howie wants Collins.
Well,
yeah, but like when Marty said online, you know, Howie's not traveling all the time. You know, who's going to do the play-by-play?
Yeah,
he might have improved health-wise over this period of time where he might travel from now on, too.
We haven't heard that. I don't know. So remains to be seen, I guess.
Every game they did together, Howie was just gushing. And that's my gut feeling.
He was good.
Yeah, he was good, but I liked Wayne better.
Oh, yeah. Wayne was very good.
Our Facebook friends, I don't know. My Facebook friend, I don't know if he's yours. You might befriend him, guys. He's very interesting and he's forthcoming. So we'll see. We'll see. Anything else on your minds? Robert?
No, not really. I mean, just can't wait for the season to start now.
Yes. And we're halfway between the season ending and spring training beginning. So I read that today. So it's coming. Unfortunately, time flies a little too fast. So we can't wait for it to come. We can't wait for it to slow down a little bit. Just speaking of time flying, Browning died in the past couple of weeks. Damn good pitcher with the Reds for 4 or 5 years. And Franco Harris.
That was shocking.
Yes.
And they were just going to celebrate the Immaculate Reception this weekend.
Right.
They're going to retire his number and everything.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. Nobody said what happened.
The Steelers only have 2 retired numbers all these years, and he would have been the 3rd.
Well, I can't believe they've left Bradshaw alone. You know, he quarterbacked 4 Super Bowl winners.
I know.
Was the MVP in 2 of them, and they haven't done it. Yeah. Which is crazy, really.
Yeah, it is.
Stabler is in. Am I correct?
No,
I thought you were talking about the Hall of Fame.
No.
Pittsburgh.
His number hasn't been retired by Pittsburgh?
No.
Wow.
Who were the only 2 that were retired, Marty?
I don't know.
Well, I think Mean Joe's one of them, and I'm not sure who the other one was.
Hey, we talked about Yale Larry. Could have been him.
Might have been Swan. 8. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. Probably wasn't Yale Larry after all. But
Yale Larry played for the Lions.
That's true. That's another thing about memory. It's fleeting. It's going quickly. All right, guys. Basically, all 4 of us are excited for the Mets.
Absolutely.
Good.
It's going to be something to watch.
Oh, yeah.
It will. And all we got to do is stay healthy for a while, and spring training will be here.
Well, let's do that.
All right. Let's all agree to do that. Promise? All right.
Okay.
Thank you for being you, guys. And I'm very appreciative. And have a happy and safe holiday. And buy some clothes, for Christ's sake. What, are you going to freeze your ass off or what?
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
guys.
we'll be all right. Good talking, guys.
All right.
Good talking.
Happy holidays.
Yep.
The next time Robert Cole hears from me, it'll be not for Jim Gentile, but for Sam Stith getting it together with Freddie Crawford. That's coming up, too. The Knicks in the Zone. What a network, really and truthfully. If you notice, I've been posting a lot of From the Archives shows.
Yeah.
So, my God, we've talked on the network with an incredible amount of interesting people. And this has been a blessing for me, time-wise, something to think about, something to plan. You know, I wonder how people get by with nothing going through their heads. But I think they're called Republicans. No, sorry, Robert, not the traditional Republicans. They're okay.
Hey, there's good people on both sides. Don't forget.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, guys, talk soon. Say hi to Craig, Mark.
Will do.
And that little girl, your granddaughter, is growing into a little pixie. She is cute as can be, and she has that feminine little look with her hands on the hips type thing, with it looking away.
Well, she lives with her aunt and her mother, so it's all girls. All girls all the time, yeah.
And,
I'll have to come up and visit and change that.
all right.
All right.
All right, guys.
Well,
you too.
thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. Marty Rose, Bernie Rose, Robert Cole, and the weak link of it all, Ralph Zig Tyko. Adios and happy trails.
Yep.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
The proceeding has been a Comfortably Zoned network production. You are advised to keep your dreams wet, your humor dry, your children and grandchildren out of military recruiting offices and off the laps of clerics who wear dresses. Thank you for listening, everyone. Happy trails.